Back again. Well, you showed up on my feed just waiting for the live notifications. That means things are working. Yes, cool. Awesome. Thank you very much. I set the live about 20 minutes early. Just got some stuff organized here, poured another drink. I appreciate you being here, True Voice of Reason. I definitely do like to have my friends around. Hopefully, you're feeling better. My complete sympathy, empathy. I've been through it. I've been through different versions of it. Completely. Yeah. So happy Monday. You don't hear people say that very often. Welcome to the live stream to all my friends that are going to tune in afterwards. I do these lives almost every day because honestly, I don't have a whole lot of other things going on in the evenings, and I like to connect with my friends. So whenever I can come on live, I can talk about some audio stuff, some topics that are going on, anything recent in the news. I will come on and do that. Apologize for the static image. I don't have a. I want to actually get a tripod mount that actually scrolls the camera like slowly on its own. It would be a lot better, in my opinion, than just watching a static image. I mean, there I am in the mirror, which is why I have it. But otherwise, everything is basically the same. Same as the other day. Maybe a little more wise today. I don't necessarily want to get into comment fights in my live streams. It's not why I'm here. Yes, maybe I should stop talking so much shit when I'm live, and then people would not have to argue with me about stuff. I can cross my fingers and hope that that's the effect that it has. Anyways, topic for today, now that we're 2 minutes in. Topic of today is how to enjoy your system more. The idea came to me today through a post that went online that I saw on Facebook, and the post was how to improve the sound of your system, and then the next frame over was stop reading online forums, online audio forums. And the idea behind the post that I read, like why you would stop listening to or reading online forums, is, I mean, people have a lot of opinions. They have opinions about anything. This kind of speaker, that kind of speaker, how wide it is, what it's made out of, where your carpet is, how little carpet you have, how much carpet you have. Do you have any sound absorption on the walls? Why do you have this? Why do you have that? Or it's the wrong color. Or that's too high. That's too low. They say stuff about, oh, your subs are in the wrong spot, or maybe your speakers need to be towed out, or, you know, like, oh, the room sounds like this. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different avenues for opinion in audio that people will just say whatever they think about your room just by looking at it. So online forums and Facebook forums and groups, when you share anything about your system, inevitably in audio, for some reason, there's somebody that has a counterpoint, an argument, another perspective. They're looking to create a conversation with you about something in the system, you know. Mark R is here, says, can you put on this beast? What is beast? Which beast? What do you mean? I need more clarity than that, my friend. I'm not sure what beast you refer to. Fahe is here. I hope I said that correctly. Hello, hello, hello. You guys see me in the mirror, right? Like, this is the only movement. Like the sunset is shining into my room through the mirror, through the window. Little tiny. Can you put on this beast, the speaker? Yeah, it is playing right now. I'm not gonna blast the music though. No, that's not. I'm here for talking points. And besides, if I put it on, you know, it's not gonna sound like the system at all. So it's playing, but the Devil Seller, hello, loving your setup. Welcome, my friend. I'm glad that you were here to see the stream. That is awesome. The system has come a long way. There's lots that went into this over the many, many years. The whole room was decorated for this purpose. So yes, took a long time, but you know how it is. We build slowly. We enjoy it when we can. Mark R saying, sorry, my English is very bad. No, actually, I think your English is pretty good. That's I can read it just fine, no problems. Yeah, so the idea of, hold on, let me flip. The idea of like how to enjoy your system more is related to enjoying it for your own reasons, not listening to other people. Audio can, audio in general, because there's a lot of science to it and there's a lot of math and there's like, you have to calculate this and this perspective, or like how high the speakers are or how they move or the way they're designed, what they're made out of, how you wire them, what you use to wire them, cables, whether you're using streaming. It seems like every other factor about the music from top to bottom, or if you want to look at the other way, from bottom to top, your source, your streaming, your, you know what I mean, like all of these different factors, a lot of people have an opinion about it, whether it's good or bad, and they like to say whether it's good or bad. Unfortunately, or fortunately, which way you want to look at it, those other people are not in your room, so that's a good thing. imagine these people in forums were in your room telling that to your face. That would be really interesting. And it happens that audio shows, you go to hotels and people go to visit the shows and they express their feedback to the rooms and the reps that are, showcasing product, which is okay, because I guess that's the correct way to share your feedback, is informing the reps or the people that set up a space what you think, because they're there to advertise or sell products. So sharing your opinion while you're at a hotel in an audio show is cool, but maybe when you're doing it through a photo that you see online and you're expressing your opinions about somebody else's system when you haven't even heard it, you're just looking and judging, that's maybe not the best thing. So instead of caring about what people say, like what you're wearing, how you play music, like if you're in a band, for instance, right, you play this music, you use this cable, this mixing, whatever, they see a microphone and they look at it and they start judging based on the way it looks. But audio is what you can hear. You need to be in the room to actually experience it. So why people make so many different arguments about, they judge just by looks, it's taxing. So let me read some of the things here. It says, followed your progress along over the years. Yes, Devil Seller is a good friend. We've known each other for a long time and been through many different musical atmospheres in the city here, like live bands, concerts, shows, whether it's in the merchandise or in the band realm, or also in media, like with doing live sessions, podcast streaming, whether it's also in music or gaming. Been around a long time, so it's really cool to connect and stay in this kind of pocket, having a community built around the same kind of thing. And at the end of the day, it is about enjoying your music. And Theseus is here too. Perfect. Mark R is still watching, I believe. I see 6. True Voice of Reason has been here. I need to actually call out comments, because when I re-upload this, like my last stream, the comments don't show up. You can't read along the comments in the reposted video, so I'm trying to read as much as I can. My apologies to those who come in. If you want something said or you want me to see anything there, then let me know. I'm going to make sure that all of my messages are on, all messages on. Okay. There we go. Apologies. Sorry. sorry. I was messing around with some of the settings, and I was closing the window by accident. I apologize. So Devil Seller says it's correct. It's part of testing, progressing, optimizing the perspective and the quality performance. Yeah, perfect. So for like in your room, of course, like when you're setting everything up, like in my case, I have the subwoofers and speakers set up across the front of the room, and I prefer them in this location because I have tested it. I'm in the room myself, and I've moved them around, and I've tuned them to a certain degree. I have minimal microphones or RTAs, real-time analyzers, and I've looked at the frequency response and move the tower around, not just for what it measures like, but what I hear in the space. So when I added the reflection points, a lot of people say you shouldn't have reflection points at the first reflections. Well, I've got the speakers towed out a little bit so they reflect on the wall, but the wall isn't flat completely. It's got a little bit of diffusion there. So it does work. And then also the same with the ceiling. I've also got like minimized reflection points on the ceiling, some absorption. The room is completely padded around the sides, as you see with the curtains that are on the front and the back of the room, so it absorbs a lot. So I needed to add some more reflections on the side in order to get that soundstage width. And Theseus is saying, how to enjoy your system, get music, sit on the lounge seat, press play, profit, stonks. Yeah, it's more like as soon as you spend into the hobby, you lose money depending on what you're buying. If you're smart, you buy used, and then you can enjoy the music and enjoy your system at a used price, and then you could resell and get almost all your money back. It's a smart way to do it. Buying and selling on the used market, depending on what brands and what condition it's in, it's a really smart way to go about getting into the hobby, is go through the used market. So Anthesia says, I actually saw those wall panels either on Amazon or somewhere. Good stuff. Yes, I got them. I got my kit from Amazon. So it's not they're not like a specific, here, let me show you. I'm going to flip my camera twice to get a wider angle. There we go. So they're not specifically for diffusion. Move this a little bit, move this a little bit. They're not specifically for diffusion, but they do work. Let me see if this, yeah. So they have like a little bit of depth to them. They are hollow on the back. So you can just use like double-sided tape and stick them on the wall like I have. But they do have like a kind of sound, right? Like they have a plasticky kind of sound. So if you don't dampen them well, then they will have a sound like ringing in the room, like everything does. But yeah, they're pretty narrow. They have got some depth to it, so it's got some high frequency diffusion. Pretty good stuff. I appreciate it. It does. The panels do what I need them to do, and I think like that's enough for me. Is as long as they're doing what I intend them to do, then that's good. Ash is here. Welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining and watching. It was actually just so like sound dampener ASMR. Hey yo. Apologize, I got a drink going. It's pretty warm actually. If you see the sunset there through the window, the sun beats on my window in the late evening, and it just heats up the window. And when the heat from the window radiates into the room, it actually gets kind of warm in here. Forgive me for a second. I'm going to run and grab the fan in my room. I'm going to point it in here so I get some circulation. So enjoying your system for yourself. I've got my camera actually charging right now, so I'll be able to move the camera in a little bit and show the room. The primary idea for enjoying your system is twofold, in my opinion. One, like with anything that's technical, like a computer software, a computer program, any software, any game that you're learning, there's a tutorial. If you're new at an employment, they train you. If you're new to a musical instrument, it takes a while to learn how to play. Guitar or piano, you have to learn not only what notes do what, but you also have to learn technique, like how to move your fingers correctly, how to position your arms or legs. I play drums. I learned how to play guitar a little bit, but drums were my main thing. And learning the timing and the muscle memory and exactly how to do it correctly takes years and years and years just to learn how to do something correct. Like you're proficient after a long period of time. I truly feel like a hobby like audio is the same. At first, when you're in the hobby of audio and you learn about the equipment at first, you're not really like, we're not sure what it does. We know that it moves. We know that speakers have a movement, and a lot of people get fixated on that. They see subwoofers and they just want to see them move. So, Devil Seller is saying, yes, the great thing of buying used items is how they are. There are people out there buying things new and rare and such items, and so convenient, especially when they sell for 50 or 80% off. Yeah, of course. If you just keep your eyes open and you're looking for something specific, and you keep your eyes open on the markets, you learn where to buy, who may be selling, better avenues, whether it's a store or online market, like for audio, Canuck Audio Mart or US Audio Mart is an amazing place, but there's also like Hi-Fi Shark. There's a lot of used places for hi-fi gear, and it's the same thing with any hobby, you know. Car aftermarket, rims, tires, like old baby clothing, like anything in the world, really, in a market, there's got to be a used market, because as people, we keep changing, we keep needing different things, and there's always someone new in the hobby, right? So you can find gear out there, especially in audio, because it's about the journey, right? Devil Seller is saying, I built my personal studio that way. It has a lot of items that were quite pristine, right? So if you get really lucky, you can find, like, for instance, these speakers here were new. They were, I believe they were launched 7 years ago ish. They're Arendal, Arendal, like the town in Norway. They were released about 7 years ago. Many creators had them. I think Villaman is the first one that I saw with these. And then a number of others had them. My friend Jay had them, and then I wanted them. So I bought them after many years of people talking about them. Now they're coming out with a new series that's going to be above this line. So they're going to be more expensive. So now would be the time for me to sell these locally and invest some money into the next ones. So if I sell them locally at a used price, someone is going to get a deal, because the price of these is about to go up. So they're going to be even more expensive MSRP. So I'm hoping that I can actually either trade them in, which is not really possible considering it's a direct-to-consumer company, or if I sell them locally to someone who appreciates their style and they're obviously in amazing condition. Then I can invest in the new ones, and I'd love to have the new ones. So audio in that sense is a journey, but it's our journey. It's our personal journey. It's entirely subjective, regardless of what people say and their subjective opinion. It's helpful in the sense if we are aware of and how psychoacoustics plays a role in our listening, right? Like, it's subjective in the way that people talk about sound, in that sense, like their impression, my impression, your impression. It's only valid if you compare it to like 100 other people. What is the average opinion of 20 or 30 people listening to it, right? So it's not just about my opinion, and it's not just about what I've said. It's about, do my words compare with like 30 other people? If I say they sound like this, and a couple of other people have a little bit of variation, but the majority of people say, hey, subjectively compared to this, they sound this way. So it's not just about one person listening one time. It's about a catalog of subjective opinions being documented over time about a product that validates its truthfulness. So to go back to a topic a little bit earlier, talking about, people in forums and the way that people talk about or judge, the judging people in forums, is I think that it's maybe 50-50. Some people just like to talk and judge just because they might know something and that's what they want to do. Other people are extremely experienced. There's a lot of people that are engineers, company owners, people who have trained in universities, they studied acoustics somewhere. They're really experienced people, and you don't know who is who in forums. I don't know who's who in my comments. All I can see is what people say. And the first thing that comes off is, one, it's not so much what you know, but more like how you present it. So when you read it in audio forms and you read an attitude or a perspective in an audio form, it may or may not be helpful, right? You may not relate to it as well. So it's even more than that. If you say 50-50, it's people are just judging because they just like to criticize. 50% know what they're talking about and they can give you information. I would say that even 25% of the whole bunch might be able to deliver an opinion, a perspective, what they think, their experience with subjective listening overall. Maybe 25%, 20% will be able to say it in a way that it's relatable, that is actually helpful for you. So that's a lot of noise, pun intended. It's a lot of noise to get through. So the reason why I even bring it up is because there was a post in Facebook that talked about the best way to enjoy your system is to stop reading forums. And to a degree, I would say that 80% that I just called out, yeah, 80% of it maybe don't read it. But there are gems in there. There are some authentic people that do work in the industry and have for a long time that are really knowledgeable, that are willing to share information, maybe reach out in a right way. That's like anything. That's like anybody you meet, any strangers that we meet, friends that we make. Not everybody is going to get along with you. You're not going to like everybody. People are just different. Our ears are also extremely different. My taste, because it's different, is not a significant factor if it's not the same as what you like. Someone likes Kef, somebody else likes B&W. Maybe they don't like either and they like Klipsch, and then people will shit on Klipsch because of a certain thing, and then, you know what I mean? Like, there's always this bickering. It's like, BMW, Honda, Toyota, Lexus, Acura, you want to fight between Ferrari, Lamborghini. Like, there's always this human element of just competition, preference, this and that. But then you can get into specs, like what's the 0 to 60 time? What's the braking distance? How much longevity does it have? Like, what is the maintenance cost? What is the cost to gas ratio? What is the, gas mileage? Does it pollute more? There's so many different factors to include. Some of those are objective facts and details about how it functions, but you don't see that as much in other hobbies because it doesn't have a sound, right? Like, that's the same thing. For me, audio complaining and judging is like looking at food on a plate in a restaurant and having food snobs judge what you're eating. Like, oh, the steak looks like this. How can you eat it medium rare? Like, bro, get the fuck out of my mouth. I'm chewing it. You're just flapping your lips. Like, that's on par. That's what I think of it. Like, you could judge and you can criticize, but what that makes you sound like and how important it is. It isn't. You're not eating the food. Shut up. It's important when somebody asks for help. Like, they ask, like, hey, this and this and this happened in my room. Does anybody have advice? I did this. And of course, some people would be like, why would you do that? That looks so dumb. This is how it blah, blah, blah. I'm surprised you don't know. And, like, people are either extremely helpful and nice, which is like the 20%. And then some people are really arrogant and asshole-ish. And they say, oh, you don't know what you're doing. That's blah, blah, blah. They make jokes. They point fun. They're condescending. They're, you know what I mean? Like, it happens. Devil Seller says, it's laughable, though, when people talk too much about equipment and here and there, and they never come out to a solid production and everything they have invested on. Yeah, exactly. They're they're critical from a distance. They're stating their opinion through the camera, through the phone, through the keyboard. They're at a safe distance. They're not actually in the space. They don't come and visit and listen and hear what we have going on. They just want to talk shit because they have something wrong. There's something, you know what I mean? Like something happened and they want to just talk about it. That's a certain type of person. The logical side, the reasonable side, like I said, is like you can criticize and talk about how you like your steak this way or that way. It's the same thing with diet choice, whether you're vegan or vegetarian or you eat meat or whatever. Like it's a personal choice and you're doing it for certain reasons, and you can argue and debate it, but it's, you know, it's not up to you. Why you would even turn it into a political battle is senseless, in my opinion. In the opinion of the post that I saw was saying, don't read these comments because it doesn't help you enjoy your system. Mirage Bryson is here. Hello, welcome to the 8 people watching. If you're watching on a TV, please try to figure out how to tell me. I'd like to know who people, like where people watch the stream, where it shows up, if it's on mobile, if it's on something, if you're browsing somehow. I'd like to know how the audience finds the channel. YouTube has some feedback on how it works. There's the analytics for everything, but I like to ask and just involve my friends. So cheers to you. Happy Monday. I don't want to make this one too long. I want to make a couple points, open the floor, and just allow people to ask any questions that they have, anything that's going on, anything audio related, anything in a previous video. I've gotten into some kind of live debates here with some people, and I don't mean to make a fight because that's not really why I started the channel, that's for sure. I really don't like debating. I mean, it's important in some sense to keep things accurate or to build a foundation, so I appreciate that much. But again, you know, like everybody's a little bit different. Sometimes the way that it's said registers different, you know what I mean? There's a good way and a bad way to say things. I guess I'm on both sides of that fence sometimes, so. Mirage is saying it's always on my laptop. I'm not always around or notice you have a lot. Yeah, and I do this fairly randomly. It's not like every Monday at this time, every Tuesday at this time, every Friday at this time. I go on live whenever I have time, and then I set into my notifications about a half hour early. So you have to tick the bell to actually find out when I'm going to go live. So it's not always important that you're here, but watching them like later on, check and see if I have an update, that's important. I can appreciate people coming back to check on videos later because the comments are always open. You know, on Instagram and Facebook, same name. You can always reach me on any of them just to say anything on the comment section, especially a private message if it's really that important. I appreciate it. If it's something like a call out, someone in the comments will challenge me on something. Conversations that are a little bit more specific, like one-on-one type stuff, please, for the love of God, have the decency to have that in private. Not that I don't want people to know, because chances are I'll tell everybody anyways, but it's more important that I don't go back and forth with one person when I'm trying to speak to a bunch of people. For that reason, I prefer that it just be kept private or out of public chat. Still have the price tag and the barcode. So the system, I think I can unplug my camera now. Earthquake. We back up for the fans here, show the whole system off. Get out, flip my camera again. Wide angle, there we go. True Voice of Reason says that's called common decency. Yes, exactly. So the other day when we had a comment, I appreciated the fact that someone called me out because I feel like that was an important thing to call out. I didn't quite like the everything else, like, oh, relax, bro. Like that's the first thing that will trigger me. People just say, relax. You know, it's kind of like you get gaslit. Somebody says something that's a certain way. I have a response, and then all of a sudden, whatever I respond, they don't like it. So they say, relax. Like, it's the equivalent to me of saying, hey, shut up, you know, and that's not cool. And just saying, bro, it's, you're not my friend. Take it easy. So watching on my phone while doing number 2. Hamilton, Ontario, my man. Yes, awesome. The hammer. Drop the hammer, as it were. I appreciate you chilling and hanging out. Hopefully, it's an entertaining time. I'm usually on for about an hour ish if the conversation carries. If it starts to die down, then I generally just cut it off early. It's more about talking with friends rather than having something to say. I rather have a conversation than talk about my life and what I think or whatever I have going on. It's not generally about me. That's not how I do this. I'm not about that stuff. Theseus is saying, from earlier topic, actually, I got benchmark AHB2 from USA Audio Mart. Absolutely awesome amplifiers. Pair of LSA Signature 80s, too. That's a really nice kit. Those are popular and very, very nice. I really like that. Say, True Voice of Reason says, does that mean you're taking... Yeah, number 2. I believe that's what he's saying. That's great. Too much information, but you know what? We're human, and there's no reason to pretend that we're not. We almost everybody in general has sat there on the toilet and checked their phone from now and then. So whether you find my live while you're doing that or not, I don't care. As long as you wipe twice or 3 times, you press the right bidet buttons, clean up and not be a slob. I don't care. It's just nice to talk to people. We're all human. There's no reason to pretend that we're not. So, like I was mentioning, the Arundel Towers, they've been truly amazing. And I was actually telling another friend of mine earlier today that I gave up my upgrading path because I became so comfortable with these that I don't need to upgrade. I don't feel like I have to upgrade them. Yeah. The True Voice of Reason corrects and says, does that mean you're talking and not... It says it's talking, not taking. So yeah, I guess so. I guess it can fit into either one of those. So to go back, the Arundels have been so good. I appreciate their sound so much now that I have the Orchard Audio amplifiers as well, mono blocks. They've been so good that I relaxed my anxiety about upgrading. For the longest time, I was obsessed with the Borison acoustic speakers, and I still am. I still love them. I still like to find out what's going on there, but I don't have any updates. The last thing that I know is they needed to take them back to investigate something, and that's the last that I heard. So I have to wait to find out what's happening next. Rather strange, but I know that the company's really busy. The distributor here was in China for an audio show, so everything went quiet. So it's up to me to be patient, to be understanding, and just wait on the process. There's nothing else that I can say. It's not up to me. I just do my thing, keep doing my thing, and then cross my fingers. Mirage Bryson saying, both of those actually Canadian brands of speakers and equipment. Says, I fell in love with my speakers. That is, I don't feel like I need to upgrade them. Yeah, and it's perfect. Like that's a beautiful moment when you can actually sit back and just enjoy your system for what it sounds like, what it looks like, how it makes you feel. I mean, I decorated my whole room to get myself the feeling that I wanted, and it's been amazing. It's a journey. It takes a long time. I invested a lot of money and spent on a lot of speakers to go, before now. This isn't the first system I ever owned. This is probably the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably the seventh or eighth system that I've owned. So that's like preamp, CD player, streaming, like all of this stuff is basically new over the last number of years, but I've been doing this since 1996, when I was still just a teenager when I started. And I just started learning about acoustics, learning about what it takes to make good sound, what good sound sounded like. Like when you go to a car show and you observe the cars that you can't afford, you learn about what the engineering does. If you go to car shows or race car races, or if you experience any kind of like test drives, then you learn what race cars can do. Like all that extra money, that expensive equipment and engineering, you understand at those levels when you go to experience it, like, yeah, this is what it takes to do these crazy speeds and doing like ultimate laps around the Nürburgring and feel this comfort, and like the way Bentley is made and Rolls Royce is made and the way that like a Rolex watch is made and how it feels. And all of this stuff is, yes, it's a luxury, but at some point, you know, you have to accept that there's such thing as a reference. And once we understand what reference means, then you can build a system. You can find something that is suited to your taste. And the best thing about this hobby, in my mind, is that you can get a speaker like this, which has its own characteristics without your room, which, you know, people like Aaron's Audio Corner will measure. And you can take the data that is a measurement and you can predict and place them in your room, and then decorate your room to change the way that it performs in your room. Like if you get a grand piano, you know, like a Steinway grand piano, and you place it in the wrong place on the stage, there are pianists and composers that will not perform. They won't even allow the concert to go ahead if the piano and other things are positioned in the wrong place in the concert hall. There's a reason why the orchestra is arranged in those ways, where the instruments are located. There's a specific reason. Like, I haven't really made that comparison before in audio, but there's absolutely a reason why the piano is a certain place, the drums are a certain place, why there's a riser, the way the stage is built a certain way, the way that amphitheaters have those angles and those positions. Like a lot of these places that do acoustic theory and acoustic buildings, and they arrange their spaces with all of that like diffusion panels and all of the seating, and they measure and do the math, and like there's a very specific reason why it's positioned that way, because they're aiming for a certain sound in that room. Now, maybe these speakers measure flat, maybe they don't, maybe they have a curve, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because as soon as you put them in your room, hello, McFly, then your room starts interacting with the speakers and changing it all, adding more bass, creating bass nulls, making the mid-range frequency bounce all over the goddamn place. And then if you don't have carpet, then it bounces off the floor, and then it bounces off the ceiling, and then you have all of these acoustic problems. Yeah, in 1996 when I started, I didn't know any of that shit. Nobody when they start knows that stuff. So you imagine, like, now that you have social media and you can ask questions in social media, and then all of a sudden you have a mixed group of, some people know what they're talking about and the majority of people don't. And even fewer people are trained, like educated AES members, which is Audio Engineering Society. You know what I mean? And they're in forums. Some of them hang out in the comment sections. Of course, the smart ones don't. Who's got fucking time for that? You don't want to go online and argue with people who don't know any better. They don't even know they don't know better. That's the problem. They don't know who they're talking to. They don't know what they don't know. But it's a free conversation online. So to go back to the original point of the videos, to say the best way to enjoy your system is to stop listening to people tell you about your space. Just sit down and enjoy what you've built for yourself, however you got there, however long it took you to get there. I mean, 96 now is coming up on what, 30 years for me? Almost 30 years listening and building systems. And that includes building my own cabinets, building my own subwoofers, designing my own crossover parts, learning about cabinet and acoustics, learning about the engineering. I spent all the time researching how this stuff works, listening in many spaces, like making friends with people that are engineers, working at a brand before. A lot of people don't know I used to work at Paradigm and Anthem. I used to build the Anthem amplifiers by hand. There's a lot of models out there that are out in the world that have my signature inside those amplifiers because I built them myself. While I was at the company, I got to see lots of stuff that happens on the inside. Literally know what it takes to build the cabinets, from folding the wood to applying the finish to where the crossovers are made and like how everything is wound, even coils, because Paradigm is one of those brands that actually makes a lot of their own stuff in Canada. They buy parts and then they assemble them here. So Mirage is saying, I love music so much that had a basic stereo starting up as well as the 90s or even before. As time went, I got into high end and then the rest is history. And yeah, that's, if you love it, if you really appreciate what it does, then that's what happens. You learn more. The more you learn, the more you want, the more that you understand what is out there. You build a connection with the community, and then you just start, one thing at a time. You start with really, really decent speakers, and then you plan to upgrade your electronics. You get a little bit better streaming or amplifiers, and then you learn what matters. You go from maybe a stereo amp to monoblocks if it suits you, or maybe you go from 1 sub to 2 subs because your room needs it, and maybe you go from like bookshelf speakers to tower speakers. Like for instance, my other room, come with me, my other room, I have speakers in here. I have theater speakers in here. I have a surround system set up in this space. I have a computer system set up in this space with 2 channels. And then I've got other speakers in the back for the TV. It's not all working right now. I still have to do more stuff. But I built this whole space for my gaming theater, my gaming system. Added the lights, added the curtains, added some things in here to make it sound better. It's not perfect. It's not finished. That's another thing that happens is people judge people's systems really early where they're like, oh, that doesn't look right. This doesn't blah, blah, blah. You should do this. You should do that. And that's the one word that I hate in any kind of people's advice is you should. Like, pardon me, you don't live here. You don't hear the system. You don't know what problems I have. You don't know what's going on in my life. How are you like so confident to be like, you should do this? Like, pardon me, unless you're Floyd fucking Toole himself or Paul Barton himself, maybe you can calm down. That makes sense. True Voice of Reason saying that's the Kanga Empire system. I guess the theater system could be one thing and this could be another. However, I kind of killed that name the same way I would if I was like an alternate personality. It doesn't exist anymore. So we won't use that. Yeah, I haven't used that and I got rid of it for a reason. So I know a lot of people know it, but I'd actually prefer that nobody even write it down. The less that people see it, the better. It's kind of hard to run away or hide stuff like that if it keeps coming up. But that's all good. You didn't know. We never had this conversation. I followed up, so it's not a big deal. But that's the story is I changed to the new audio name. I have the name now for all my audio stuff. And that's the pursuit. You change over time. When you learn, you change. And I've definitely changed things. My media's changed. My personality's changed. I lived through things. I grew up. That's what happens. We learn. So from the almost 30 years, we learn different things. True Voice of Reason says, I may not be Floyd, but I may be a tool. Spell the name correctly too. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, we're coming up on almost an hour. I'm gonna sit down here for this last little bit, flip this camera, just say what's up to my friends. And I just wanted, I do want to say thank you for being here and supporting the channel, saying hello, asking questions, following the links. I mean, this was a random live that was just online. Who knows who came in to see it? I've seen the numbers for viewers go up to about 13 and then down to 6 or 4. It's been consistent at about 7 for the last little while. So I appreciate everybody who comes to watch. I truly do appreciate constructive criticism. I appreciate those who can listen and follow along with what I've said long enough. that they can call me out on something important, not necessarily nitpicky, but I appreciate that as well. How you do it's important. Gear is here. Gear Trones, thank you for joining. I cheers to everybody on a Monday. I know that Mondays are not always the best. My Monday was not the best. I tried to make the best of it. That's why I'm here trying to talk with my friends. And I have a couple things to do the rest of the night. Some exciting things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell you, but I'm going to try my best to make some things happen. So Anthesius is here. Gear is here. Ash was here. My buddy Devil Seller was here. Mirage is here. I appreciate all of you for joining and watching. True Voice of Reason, as always, first one here today. Thanks for watching and joining. If you guys can improve on the like button status, that would be cool. If anybody's new and watches afterwards and you appreciate any of the topics, talking points, if you'd like to hear more, subscribing is not always necessary, but comments and feedback as well as that helps me gauge what people think and how they feel about it. So if it continues to grow, I know that what I'm doing is accepted, it's appreciated. So if it doesn't go well, then I know that I can change some things up. I can talk about different things, I can show different things, I can try to present to the community something different. The whole point is to be informative, to be entertaining, to be valued here, because if it isn't valuable, then I don't have a reason to continue doing it. If it isn't valuable, like, I wouldn't waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. So there's a balance to be met. Any feedback is important because I take it one way or the other. A Devil Seller says, I dislike that so much when suggestions become obligation. Yeah, people being like, you should do this. It's like an enforced kind of sense. It's an attitude, I feel like. The word should is, if you say maybe you could try this, that's less forcing, you know what I mean? Trying something is, or even better than that, the most respect I have for people out there is they say, hey, did you hear about this? Do you know about this? Have you tried this? They ask you a question first, and not a fucking rhetorical one. So like, hey, you know that blah, 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 blah. Like, that's rhetorical. That's like passive aggressive. There's a lot of people that don't know that they do that, but it is a tone. People can pick up on it. Maybe if people get agitated when you talk to them, you might do that often and say those things. But saying like, hey, have you heard of this? Is a good way to start a conversation. If you say, hey, I heard this, and whatever, what do you think? That's a good way to bring something up. But if you say, oh, the blah, 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 you should do this. Like, nah, bro, like, take it easy. Take it easy, man. Just talking about ideas, suggestions, it's good to ask people what they've been through, what they know, why they did something, and then start to get into the conversation. Instead of it just being like, I don't know you, I think this, blah, 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 and they just spit on the keyboard. It's not that fun. You guys want to hear the speakers through the stream? I'll replay this song and I'll turn it up. It's a nice guitar track. So we flip the camera and I'll keep reading the comments. Yeah, it's Devil Sellers here. Anthesia's still here. Gear is here. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me flip this camera twice. Make it wider. There we go. And the one thing I think you'll hear in my system is that you don't hear a lot of echo in my room. Like if you listen on headphones or a laptop, you don't hear the room. There's not a lot of reverb in this space. That's on purpose. Sounds good? Everybody likes it? Yeah, these are beautiful speakers. They sound incredible. See a comment there from Mirage says, I may try to add some wall treatments at some point. I do have a lot of furniture, etc. in the room, a large carpet. Yeah, it does make a difference, honestly. So the camera is about 1 meter from the speaker, just slightly off of center. Devil Seller replies, that's right, you tell them. Mirage, you're not going to find this song. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't exist on any media. This is a CD from the 90s. And this is copyright free because it's such an old publication. It's not in the library anymore, so you can't find this song anywhere. I'm glad you guys like it. I appreciate that. and Theus like, bet. Yeah, it's amazing. It's a very nice track. It's very what's the word? Intimate. It's a very intimate recording as well. Everything's nice and close. The guitar is very close, intimate. You can hear the breathing. Yeah, thank you for being here today, everybody. Thank you for watching and coming to check out the stream and leaving your comments and giving me feedback and just showing up to be friends in these moments. It's very meaningful. I appreciate it. I wish that I could play more songs more often. The problem with doing streaming and sharing in this way, even though it's entertainment, copyright is a really big problem. Copyright, even from my last stream, I had to edit and ask YouTube, the YouTube program, to actually mute the songs out because it was blocking the video in some countries. And that's really the problem with it. It's not about the monetization. It's about blocking the video for songs. And if people can't see it, then there's not much of a point for me to... Oh, Shazam actually got that. Ooh, interesting. Let me show you. So that's the CD. I guess you guys can read it the right way. So Shazam actually did find what it is, so it was right. So that's the name of it. You'll have to look up TDF Retail Therapy. I haven't found it on streaming anywhere. I've been using it because it's copyright free. I tried it a couple times and I used it in all of my sound demos. So yes, if you follow this afterwards, you find it afterwards. You can go back and listen to my SVS demo, my Arundel sound demo, my Monolith demos, my Canto demos. It's using this CD. It's using songs from this CD. So I have another song that I can play that's similar, but now you guys have seen what it is. I'm giving away my secret weapon. So if you find it and listen to it at home, then at least you have an idea what it is that I'm hearing. So that was the last song is What Else? That's my secret. Now you guys know everything. I'm just kidding. So yeah, I'm probably going to sign out. So Shazam didn't find it. Is that a song from a soundtrack? No. As far as I know, it's not. It's just on the CD. I'm not really sure if it was used in anything else. Maybe it was. I don't know. This is the song that's actually in my sound demos. I was using this for quite a while. So we'll switch it again. So yeah, this is in the sound demos. I already demoed this in a number of different videos, but you can I guess if Shazam is finding the song, then that's cool. I didn't find it on Spotify. I didn't find it on other streaming platforms, so you may just have to ask me for a copy, but you know how that is. I'm not allowed to copy it. I don't know if Shazam is going to refer you to another platform to actually play it, but if it can, then more power to you. Devil Sellers saying it reminds me a bit of soundtrack for Once Upon a Time in America. Yeah, it's a lot of like that very sort of like Latin sounding guitar. It's a little bit electric, but it still sounds like a bit flamenco, but not really. You know what I mean? I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. I gotta yell at the camera. Anyways, it is almost an hour. I didn't want to hold everybody else up. I will get out of here. Seeming as we've had a very good conversation. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you very much for joining, contributing, listening, sharing, let other people know, invite your friends. I would love my goal, my new goal. I'm going to say this right now. And Tisha's is like, get out of here. What does that mean? Oh, you're just saying goodbye. Man, you got me on that one. Seriously. So my goal is to hit 2,500, maybe 2,525 for 2025. So if I can get to that many subscribers by the new year, that'll be amazing. If I can get to 2,500 and I see consistent commenting and friends that are here and they're always, they're always commenting. I'm still working on a merch line right now. I want to do teachers, not teachers, t-shirts. My dyslexia kicked in. I was like, what the hell? I want to do t-shirts. I want to do merch. So I would love to be able to send merch out on the 25, maybe to 25 people. I have to find out how expensive it is. I don't know that any of the things here are going to be making me any money, but True Voice of Reason's like, socks. That's a good idea, actually, to get branded socks. That would be absolutely hilarious. You got a good point. I might do both, really. Carmen is here. DeSanto says, good evening. Time is the fire which in which we burn. That's a good quote. I like that. It is after the hour mark now. I said I was going to go for the hour, but I appreciate everybody here. So like I said, I'm going to reiterate and say I would love to, just as a symbolic thing, I would love to be able to make enough content, create enough value for people so that I get up to the 2,500 plus in 2025 for New Year's. So that's still September, October, November, December. There's still 4 months of content that I can create to reach that 2025, that 2,500. I don't know that I can do it all on my own. I would love if some of my friends were able to contribute to that, inviting some friends, sharing some videos, anything that's important, as well as leaving comments like, say, talk about this, do this next, try to do this, let's see more about this product. I have a number of things at home where I don't have to keep buying anything. I can still talk about more. I still have to do SVS. I'm going to review these again. I want to talk about the integration with the sub. So over the next couple weekends, that's what I want to do. So yes, exactly. True Voice of Reason saying 2,500 by 25 or 25. So if it's 2,500 and 25, then even better. So we make it 25s across the board and can do our best. So, oh burn, oh toast. Burnt toast. Dr. Penfield, I can smell burnt toast. That would be really funny if you were a neurosurgeon and you got that joke. That would be hilarious. That's just the way my brain works. Where am I located, he asked, or the person asked. I am in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So north into the snow, much like my room. Carmen's like, oh my God, I get the joke. Yes, that's why I love my friends here. Carmen's saying merch is nice. Honestly think you can hit 2,500. You're on a roll. Yeah, I hope so. I think that each stream that I've done over the last few days, I've gained three more each stream, and I have a number of different really cool things to talk about, not least of which is the synergistic research gear. So I have to talk about the cables. I have to do official review of the amps. The sub integration has been really, really great. I'm just gonna call you Burnt Toast. That's hilarious, Burnt Toast. He says Vancouver. That's why I asked. That's awesome, fellow Canadian. You're about 4 hours behind me in time, where it's like, let me see. Let me clear my notifications. It's 8:05 here on a Monday. So he's encouraging. He says, you'll hit it. That's awesome. I appreciate that. He says, how are you getting Orchard audio gear in Toronto? Well, if you look on Orchard Audio's page, you might notice a little bit of this room in the background of some of their photos, like over there. And the shape, you might notice this shape underneath the amplifiers. So there's no store here, but Orchard Audio is a direct to consumer seller. So I can talk to Leo himself, the owner and designer and manufacturer of the amps, and I can just order them up here. No big deal. So that's how I'm getting my Orchard Audio amps up here. These are truly amazing. And these are the new premium mono blocks. They have really, really nice binding posts, XLR inputs. I'm using synergistic research power cables and the conditioner with the carbon fiber and the blue lights. And the speaker cables. So, True Voice of Reason says, how about an official Siphonics toque that doubles as a port plug? Bro, you're on a roll. That's some pretty good. Maybe you can just roll up the socks as a port plug. You know what I really want to brand? You can see them there, but I'm not going to talk about them. So don't say anything in the chat. You're more knowledgeable than most. So the Arundel towers do come with the port plugs. So what if I got like I branded a pair of socks where you could just roll up the socks and make it a port plug? It's too silly, but that's my brand. I like making jokes. I don't like being too serious about everything. I see people being too serious gives me a headache. Also, bonus points to anybody who recognizes those. It's a center channel, but shout out to anybody who can call that. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think t-shirts are the easiest thing to model first, and then we can go from there. You know, every business, every avenue takes, it takes some work, right? I need to get some success before I can push to even more success. Chat is sure getting fun. I love when we can all be silly and have a great time. 100%, Mirage Bryson. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to be like, oh, you know, these other YouTubers or this brand or that brand or blah, blah, blah. Like, honestly, I couldn't give a shit. You know, I respect and love all those people as people. But when it comes to having fun and just enjoying ourselves and talking about what actually makes you feel good and the things that benefit us on the system, things that actually matter, we can resolve certain things, having jokes like, you know, my friend, what did I call her? Cassandra? Has anybody seen Deadpool? I have this really magnificent bald head, and if anybody's seen Deadpool recently, you know that this kind of resembles the character in that movie. So we'd have like this is my new talking head video. So have you seen Deadpool yet? I think it's really awesome, you know. Now you all can go and tell your significant others that somebody gave you head on YouTube. That's how it is around here, folks. Just get used to it. Sorry about the camera movement. You guys will forgive me. What's going on? Chat, sir. Fun. Wish you a great night, brother. Love the stream. Cheers. Come back next time. It's all good. Maybe you could get that other Joe Shill for you. Joe Shill. No, I don't think we're on the same team anymore. Sadly, some of those things went a little sideways a while ago, so it's all good. Mirage Bryson is like, too funny. So I found that having singular cable brand through the chain actually makes reviewing easier. It's one less thing that gets in the way. Yeah, sometimes, I guess, because like I have synergistic there, synergistic there, synergistic power there, synergistic power all the way to the speakers. So now my signal chain all the way in this area is all managed by Synergistic Research, and they're on loan, so I don't own them. But I was given a chance to review and talk about them by the distributor, and another couple of weeks after I get the other demos done, then I'll talk about A/Bing these cables and what I think of them overall. So that's be interesting. Center channel is JBL, right? Nope, it's not. That's not JBL. I'll zoom in and show you afterwards. I'll give you a couple other guesses. True Voice of Reason says, almost reminds me of her name in Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. Nebula. It's a little bit like Nebula, but it's not quite like Nebula. Can I make this any more creepy? Doesn't it look like an alien? So the center channel is Mirage will get this one. You see the name there? It's sideways, but I think you can figure it out. You recognize that tweeter, I'm sure. Yeah, Nebula's her name. Yes. So I have one more lighting trick that I can put on in here. Cool. So that's the projector that I have there. So I can actually dial the other lights down. Make it real sexy and romantic in here. Come on, is that not the sexiest looking audio system like ever? The fact that I have swords against the wall. So when your gear and room all sorts out, you can get appearance small differences. Yes, that's true. No, it's not energy. It's not an energy speaker either. True Voice of Reason's like not going there. So you're gonna call me out for socks and a couple of other jokes, but you're not going there now? Come on, bro. At least I don't have a mirror on the ceiling. Give me a break. Yeah, it looks great. Yours is all white, mine's all black and silver. Yeah, I love it like this. This is truly mood setting. I appreciate it a lot. So, give you an idea of the whole room there. Yeah, Anthesius looked that shit up. I know you did. Yes, so I'm going to use my light here. It is an Axiom center channel, but the aluminum is all messed up. You can see there it's like chewed up. The bottom one is also like really bad. You see that? They're damaged, so I don't use it. I don't know if they still make these cones, but I'm not going to repair the speaker. It's just too damaged. So I just use it as a stand and sort of like a Canadian reminder, like it's a Canadian piece, so I just use it for that purpose. Thank you to somebody who's giving me all the hearts. I don't know who's leaning on that button, but that's amazing. If it's a robot from Russia, thank you. I'll make sure the US drops the tariffs. Yeah, so for me and the gorgeous Arundel Towers and the sword collection, which has a very important meaning you'll have to see in other videos, I think I'm gonna go. It's about an hour and 13 minutes. I feel like this is a really good one. We've got all copyright free music. Everybody had a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody who's been here. Mirage, Anthesius, Devil Seller, Carmen, Ash was here. I appreciate all of you. True Voice of Reason, the socks. What a pair of socks between only friends. Friends, stiff socks. You know, it's everybody needs a pair of soft socks. Oh my God, we need socks. Oh my God. I'm just playing. You guys know I'm playing. If you can't have fun with me, then it's worth it. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for being here. It's been a joy to build this channel. It's even more important that I meet new friends. I love that we can all just be adults and have fun and joke around and still learn some stuff. I'm still willing to teach and talk about some topics and bring everybody into the community, bring a different kind of vibe, do a different kind of thing. I hope that my audience shows up. Again, the goal, 2,525, 2025. If I can get 2025 in 2025, that would be amazing as well. So it may not be 2,500, but you know what I mean. I want to get there. And then if I do, hopefully we can manifest some more things. We'll give out some branded socks. See if we can make that happen. So from me to you, before my arm gets tired holding this tripod up this high, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being here, for being friends, for being nice, for being respectful, for respecting each other in the chat. Burnt Toast said subbed good night. Thank you so much, even though it's probably like 5 p.m. over there. Have a great night. Stay safe. I know BC's been through a lot of forest fires. My empathy to the communities. I know that's all over the place. May not be close to you, but again, my empathies. Keep it real. Keep it honest. Keep it respectful. I don't know what else to say. You know what I'm saying. Be a good person. Don't be a cunt. It's the best advice that anybody can get, right? Don't be a cunt. Like, just that's it. Just as long as you have that, then you're okay. Everything else just kind of floats together. So from me to you, that's enough for my live stream. My arm's getting tired. Thank you very much, everybody I've mentioned, everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's watching, everybody who's clicked the like button, anybody else that's clicked the subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Bye, folks.